Medical science and research, along with a plethora of trendy diets, have been pushing protein on us for quite a while. Our culture has become so inundated with facts about protein that people often only consider if a food item is high in protein or not when trying to make a healthy decision for themselves and their family. They don't know to consider the other elements of the food that may be detrimental. Unfortunately, this is not a new problem. The misrepresentation of the place of protein in our diets first appeared in the 1930s. Protein quickly became a buzzword in the food industry as a tactic to direct our food purchase choices to where industry wanted us to spend our money. Unfortunately, like so many of the worst aspects of industry and our culture, this protein obsession was all about making money, not about supporting your health or the health of your loved ones. If industry really had your best interests in mind, a tremendous amount of money would have been thrown into a worldwide campaign to encourage people to eat many more fruits, leafy greens, and vegetables and to choose food items based on their vitamin, mineral, and antioxidant value. It most certainly wouldn't have been the push for protein that we are still experiencing. What this protein myth has led to is a great deal of fear about how much protein our bodies really need. In actuality, it's not the protein in foods that your liver requires in order to create the healthy proteins it uses. That's right, it's the liver that is responsible for producing the types of proteins your body can recognize. Most of the proteins the liver produces are created from fruits, leafy greens, and vegetables, not from eating the foods most people see as high in protein like eggs, bacon, yogurt, beef, chicken, tofu, fish, milk, nuts and seeds. While it is okay to eat some of these foods, they shouldn't be the focus of the diet. One of the reasons for that is because these foods are actually high-fat foods. Everywhere you look and every person you talk to says it's important to focus on protein. Unfortunately, that's how entrenched the protein myth has become in our society. Even the most intelligent, smart, well-researched people believe that protein is God when it comes to dietary intake. The industries driving this message have been that successful. One of the biggest problems with this protein myth is that while you think you might be doing the right thing by eating a high-protein diet, you are also inadvertently eating a high-fat diet. These proteins and fats cannot be separated, and a high-fat diet is central to the development of chronic illnesses, autoimmune diseases, and countless symptoms. And when the diet is too high in fat, it's almost impossible for the pathogens, heavy metals and toxins that are responsible for these illnesses and symptoms to leave the body, as the blood is too thick from all the fat plus a host of these pathogens, toxins, metals and more in the bloodstream. Every single person today has dirty blood due to the world we are living in, the pathogens and toxins we are exposed to and inherit through our family lines. Chronic dehydration that most people aren't even aware of in the foods we eat, so it's critical that everyone knows the truth about dirty blood syndrome. These true causes are still unknown to medical science and research, so it's even more essential that you understand what's really behind your symptoms and conditions. There's a highly popular belief today that the brain is made out of fat and you need to eat a lot of healthy fats to have good brain health and function. Sadly, this is more damaging misinformation. High-fat diets are disastrous for the brain. In truth, there is only a microscopic percentage of fat in the brain. Outside of these low traces of omegas, the brain is mostly a jellyfish-like organ made up of sugar. The brain runs on glucose, not fat, and without enough of it the brain begins to shrink. We get older and it's deprived from getting enough glucose due to high-fat, high-protein, low-carbohydrate diets that fear fruit and potatoes. It's glucose and mineral salts that enable the brain to perform every single function that it does. Sugar that is naturally derived sugars found in fruits and natural carbohydrates like potatoes, sweet potatoes, and winter squashes, as well as mineral salts, also help build muscle. Fat, on the other hand, stops you from building muscle. For those of you drinking protein shakes, the hidden ingredients in those shakes that are actually responsible for your muscle mass are the sugars and carbohydrates. And it's your time at the gym or doing exercise that builds muscle, not the protein in the shakes or other foods you're eating. Surprised? The fact that we have gotten so far from this truth shows just how entrenched this hyper-focus on protein has become. If you are interested in keeping your muscle definition, eating enough fruits, leafy greens, and vegetables, drinking celery juice, for example, which is packed with mineral salts, will prevent your muscles from atrophying and help remove the toxins that prevent muscles from expanding. Protein is also not meant to satiate hunger. I often hear people say they need to have eggs for breakfast to feel satiated, or chicken or tofu with their vegetables. This is where people get confused by the satiety they feel after consuming animal proteins or protein-rich plant foods like soy products and nuts. The reason you feel satiated from a meal of animal protein or soy is not because of the protein in the food but because of the fat. High quantities of fats, however, are harmful to your liver. Instead, the focus should be on eating enough calories of the foods that will be most supportive of your health. Fruits, leafy greens, and vegetables, including potatoes, sweet potatoes, and winter squashes. How to reduce fat in your diet. Plant-based people and animal eaters alike are falling into the same trap when it comes to high-fat diets. If you are vegan, you may be eating too many nuts, oils, or avocados each day, loading up your smoothies with almond butter or chia seeds, or eating tofu every night which is naturally high in fat. If you do eat animal products and you are consuming animal protein with each meal, you are also eating too much fat. Dairy products and eggs are also problematic and should be avoided by anyone who has a symptom or condition or wishes to help prevent getting one. Eggs feed diseases and bacteria. Those on both animal protein and plant-based diets are worried about aging, but if you are focused on too much on protein, even if you are an athlete with no body fat, it is likely you will experience symptoms commonly associated with aging or suffer with an illness or symptom down the track or from the amount of fat in your diet. This may present as any number of conditions, but most commonly causes heart attacks, strokes, and diabetes, all of which stem from a toxic, sluggish liver and thick dirty blood. You might be asking then, what can I eat? The truth is, proteins are in all natural whole foods, so your options are endless. Raw spinach and nori contain a great deal of protein. Potatoes are often shunned, but the skin of a potato contains healing protein. Tomatoes have proteins in them. Bananas not only contain protein but also satiate due to their calorie count. In addition, the carbohydrates in bananas kill viruses in the gut, helping to heal celiac, IBS, Crohn's disease, and colitis. They also repel retroviruses like HIV and herpetic viruses like Epstein-Barr, shingles and HHV. Oranges and apples contain some protein and play a part in keeping the liver healthy, which should be the priority over protein. If you are plant-based, you can eat some avocado and some nuts and seeds, but if it's healing from symptoms and conditions and the best health possible you're seeking, put your focus on an abundance of fresh fruits, leafy greens, and vegetables, including the carbohydrate-rich vegetables like potatoes and winter squash. If you eat animal products, try to stick to one smaller serving of animal protein per day while bringing in more and more of the fruits, leafy greens, and vegetables. Satiation should not be based on fats and proteins, but on getting enough healthy carbohydrates and glucose from fruits and carbohydrate-rich vegetables. It is an adequate amount of calories that provides satiation, not specifically eating fat and protein. These foods just seem more satiating because such a small amount of them provides such a large amount of fat and calories. Whereas with fresh fruits, leafy greens, and vegetables, you need to eat more to get sufficient calories, but when you do, you will feel satiated and be giving your body the nutrients it so desperately needs. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe.